Coming up on the PC Coaches Show with Ed Cooley, the Friars pick up their 19th win of the season this past week in Chicago. The recent jersey retirement ceremony of some former Friar greats had a real impact on the Friars' LaDante Henton. We'll hear from him. And next up for the Friars, a two-game week that includes a stop at the home court of the 6th nationally ranked Villanova Wildcats. It's all next on the PC Coaches Show with Ed Cooley. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the PC Coaches Show with Ed Cooley. I'm Frank Carpano. We welcome back the coach of the Friars, Ed Cooley. Very nice to see you after a couple of week break here, and we want to congratulate you on your 19th win of the season. It came with an 84-57 win this past week at DePaul, and Coach, for the third straight year, you've reached that 19-win plateau, but this is the earliest that you've reached it. You beat the old mark by about 10 days, so certainly a sign that things are headed in the right direction.
Oh, I'm really excited for our kids and really excited for our fans. We're trying to finish up strong here. We feel we played a very, very tough non-conference, and our conference speaks for itself, being, in the top half of college basketball. So we got our work cut out, but it's good to be where we are right now.
Offensively, you get some consistent help from LaDante Henton and Chris Dunn, and I know that Tyler Harris also coming into double figures a lot of games. Who would be the next on the list of offensive threats that you really hope to get more out of in the weeks ahead?
Well, we've been trying to get the ball to Carson DeRozier's a lot around the basket, and for him to take 15 to 17-foot shots. We feel he can make those. With Carson, everything's about his confidence. We also been getting some really good contribution from Ben. So we feel if the two of them could be a third, fourth, fifth option, have Jalen come off, make a couple of shots, Kyron come off and be a playmaker. It's really a team effort, but clearly LaDante and Chris get the boatload of our shot selection.
Speaking of Chris, in Chicago this past week, we heard on the telecast that there were 10 NBA scouts in attendance to watch Chris. Do you talk to him at all about the fact that those guys are watching and evaluating him?
Well, he knows, Chris is playing at such a level, and I think he's earning all the respect of the people that are coming to watch him play. But he's staying right in the moment. We talk about at the end of the season, we will talk about what's best for him. His family will sit down. They'll make an informed decision. And I told him, think about the future. This whole game is a journey, and we just want to make sure he doesn't just stay in the present.
I remember when he was injured last year, you said that, you really missed his smile. I think you missed more than that, didn't you?
We missed a lot more. But we managed to get through. But having him right now, it's he's a wonderful, wonderful young man, and he's a pleasure to coach.
You had the DePaul game in hand very early, and that gave you an opportunity to use a couple of your walk-ons. We don't talk much about them on this show. They got some decent time and actually got into the scoring column. A walk-on is someone who's a non-scholarship athlete, and that's Casey Woodring and Tom Planick. Could you talk a little bit about their contribution? I know most of it comes during practices.
Clearly, two incredibly important people to our organization, how they help us prepare, how they help in the locker room. They're a big part of what we do, and I think people take for granted their role. Their role is as important as LaDante and Chris's role, so we're very, very grateful for them, and we look forward to having them in our organization for a long time.
All right. We have to step away for a moment, but when we return, Friar LaDante Henton talks about what the recent jersey retirement of some former Friar greats means to him. That's next on the PC Coaches Show with Ed Cooley. Welcome back to the PC Coaches Show with Ed Cooley, coach of the Friars here. I'm Frank Carpano, and the Friars recently retired the jerseys of three former greats, John Thompson, Jim Hadnot, and women's star Andrea Mangum. And as Nick Rojas reports, the weekend festivities surrounding the jersey retirement had quite an impact on PC's current star LaDante Henton.
On February 13th, the Providence College Friars honored some past greats as three players had their numbers retired, numbers that will be remembered by fans, coaches, and players alike for years to come. It's events like this that can inspire everyone in the room, including a certain special guest to the event, senior LaDante Henton.
It's just a great experience, because that's something you dream about. And for those guys that was legends, I look up to them. And hopefully I want my jersey to be retired one day also. So it's just a blessing to be a part of something like that.
With the Friars basketball program having about 90 years of players, coaches, and memorable moments, it's nearly impossible to learn all of the history on your first day on campus. But Henton says it's something you learn more and more about over your time at school.
Yeah, you gradually learn about the history and guys like Lenny Wilkins and John Thompson. You know, those are legends in the game of basketball, not just at PC. So it's something you look up to just growing up.
Hendon is certainly not unlike some of those Friar greats. His numbers and accomplishments in his time at Providence certainly aligned with some of those who have had their numbers retired, a sentiment echoed by head coach Ed Cooley during the ceremony. For Hendon, it's something every player dreams about when they first put on the uniform.
You focus on winning first, you know, and all the other things that come, you know, and that's just a dream. Guys dream about that every day, just growing up as kids and in high school. You know, you always want your jersey to be retired because all the greats get their jersey retired, so you obviously want to be a great. So,
for the Coaches Show, I'm Nick Rojas.
I thank you very much, Nick. And there's a young man who not only wants to win, but wants to leave a positive imprint for his time at Providence College. And he's zeroing in on 2,000 career points and 1,000 career rebounds. And I know you're smiling. This kid was your first recruit at PC. I think things have worked out pretty well.
I tell you, I'm touched every time I see LaDante and how he speaks and how he comes across. And he's always so humble. You know, I think he's 7 rebounds away from 1,000. 48 points away from 2,000 points, and to be the second player in the history of our school to do that, it truly is remarkable, and there's no reason why his jersey won't be in the rafters one day.
So the senior ceremony is coming up very soon. What is that going to be like for you when his name is called?
Well, you know, I mean, Carson, Tyler, Ted went through the ceremony last year, but in particular, LaDante. Being the first kid we recruited, he trusted us. Man, I'm caught up in it right now because I don't want to see that day, but I do want to see that day so his life moves forward. I'm really, really proud of all those kids.
All right, Coach, I wanted to get your opinion on a story that came out this past week. The Big Ten Conference seeking feedback from its member schools about the possibility of making freshman athletes ineligible for competition to give them a chance to adjust to college life that first year. Now, the league hasn't made a formal proposal, but the Big Ten is hoping to stir a national discussion. In a statement to ESPN, a spokesperson for the Big Ten said it's gauging interest from its members about a, quote, national discussion regarding a year of readiness for student athletes. This rule would be designed for the highest revenue producing sports, football, men's basketball. Not new, freshmen were ineligible to compete in all NCAA sports until 1972, and other conference commissioners said that they would welcome a debate on the topic, and I wanted to have a little debate here with you. What do you think? Has the time come again for this rule to be implemented?
I think times have changed. I'd like to know where this topic was brought up and the readiness of student athletes. Is it athletic based? Is it social based? Is it academic based? Is it all? Because some kids are ready academically and not ready athletically. Some kids are ready athletically and not ready academically. Most kids are not ready socially. So I don't know if you would be hindering the growth of a young man or a young woman, not letting them play their sport. Let's face it, for the most part, we're there to educate, to graduate them, but those young kids go there to play their sport.
Right.
And if you take their sport away from them, how focused will they actually be for a full semester? And when you're dealing with the high major sports, most of those kids go there thinking they're going to become professional athletes.
Right.
So do you take something away from them? And if you are at the elite of the elite and you have the one and done kids, they're never going to suit up for your institution. So it is a hot, hot topic. It's a good discussion. But me personally, I'm not in favor for it, for Ed Cooley. Maybe Providence College may be, but me personally, I don't see how that benefits someone's long-term with respect to the present of them moving forward.
All right, I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot more about this in the weeks and months to come. All right, we have to take one final break, but on the way next, say hello to bobblehead Bryce Cotton. Bryce, did you listen intently to everything Coach Cooley said during your time as a Friar? Look at him, he's agreeing. Did that happen, really?
Yes.
We'll tell you how to get one of these bobbleheads and talk about the week ahead. That's next on the PC Coaches Show with Ed Cooley. Back, wouldn't you love to have one of these collector's items? Former Friar Bryce Cotton's bobblehead. Be one of the first 2,000 fans at the Dunk for PC's game against Marquette on March 1st at 3:30. And with more on that, here's Ed.
Well, I think everybody wants a Friar bobblehead doll, especially Bryce Cotton's.
Especially Ed Cooley.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. His is worth way more than mine. He's going to say yes every single time you shake him. So come on down to the Dunk. first 2,000 in gets this, and him saying yes every time. So go Friars, but go Bryce Cotton.
All right, 2 games this week for the Friars. First up, PC will play at Villanova, number 6 team in the country. The Wildcats 23-2 beat the Friars back on February 11th, a game that produced a 74-68 win. Then on Sunday at 3:30, a rematch with Marquette. The Golden Eagles beat PC on January 3rd, 75-66. That game was on the road. This one will be at the Dunk. Let's start with Villanova on Tuesday night, Coach.
Oh, you know, I think one of the most dominant teams in college basketball. I think Villanova is so underrated nationally, even though they're ranked 6th. I think they should be vying for a #1 seed. You know, they are talented, they're experienced, they got star power. We're going to have our hands full, but we're excited. We made some mistakes in that game. Clean up those mistakes, and hopefully we get lucky down the stretch.
Tough place to play?
Real tough place to play. I think it's one of their 2 senior nights. They have one in the Pavilion and then one at Wells Fargo. So we're going to be facing a hostile, sold-out crowd. But we're used to playing in front of big environments.
Sure.
We're used to big games, so hopefully our experience carries over.
And then Sunday at Marquette coming here to the Dunk.
Yeah, well, we haven't played them in a couple of months since January 3rd. And if you remember the game, we were down 4 with 4 seconds on the shot clock with 2 minutes to play, and we didn't execute an out-of-bounds defensive stop. So we're going to have our hands full there, but it's in the Dunkin' Donuts Center. The 2,000 people that are coming out for Bryce Cotton's bobblehead doll. We need you there. Energy, passion, and enthusiasm.
This is the first time that I've seen you since I've been back from the Super Bowl in Arizona, and I got you a little present there, a little something for the man cave.
Nice.
Cooley man cave.
You know, everybody, I don't know anybody knows, but I'm the biggest Friar fan, but a really, really big Pats fan. I'm proud of the Pats.
Yeah.
They bring a lot of energy to New England, and I get to brag for the whole year right now.
All right. Hey, best of luck this week. We'll see you next Sunday.
Looking forward to it.
All right, that will do it for the PC Coaches Show with Ed Cooley. We're back here next Sunday. Hope you can join us then. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, everybody.